The words hit before she even looked up. Stupid, said loud enough for the aisle to stop breathing. Nobody looked, but everyone heard it. He smirked by the counter, voice sharp and practiced. People like her should be grateful to even have a job. A woman with a baby pretended to check her receipt. The lights hummed. The cashier froze, hands still over the scanner. He smirked, tapping the counter once. "You people never get the math right," he said. "Next time, try reading the screen before you hit total." The man in the hoodie behind the register cleared his throat, then didn't. The beeping from another lane filled the air. A normal day, just louder in her head. She didn't argue, didn't say a word. She voided the item, fixed the coupon, apologized to the customer who only nodded, uncomfortable, like he wanted to leave faster. Her hands shook just once, but she kept scanning. The rhythm of it, beep, slide, total, was the only thing keeping her steady. When the last item was bagged, she said, "Have a good night," and meant none of it. He was already walking away, talking into his radio, laughing about something she couldn't hear. At closing, the aisles went quiet. The soft, generic music faded into the air. She wiped down her register, counted the drawer twice, then once more. In the glass door, she saw him by the service desk, laughing again like nothing happened. She waited until the lights dimmed before heading to the break room. Her bag sat on the cold metal bench. The smell of disinfectant and burned coffee clung to the air. She sat, staring at the floor, then at her reflection in the dull locker door. No tears, just that tight, unmoving pressure in her chest. Outside, his voice echoed one last time. Low, smug, something about keeping the standards up. She zipped her jacket, stood, and left through the employee door without a word. In her head, the sound of that scanner still clicked, once every few seconds. Like a reminder, like a pulse. The parking lot was half empty, lit by those buzzing yellow lamps that made everything look tired. Her car was parked by the last cart return. The metal rattled when she pulled one free to push it back, just out of habit. She sat inside for a minute, hands on the steering wheel, watching her breath fog the windshield. The clock on the dash said 11:47. She didn't turn the key right away. His words were still there, like static in her head. People like her. When she finally drove off, the radio was silent. She didn't want music, just the hum of the tires and the click of the blinker every few blocks. Her apartment was small, ground floor, beige carpet, always cold near the windows. She kicked off her shoes, set her name tag on the counter, and stared at it for too long. The next day, she went in early. Nobody talked about what happened. He didn't even look her way. Maybe he didn't remember, or maybe he didn't care. The scanner beeped. Customers smiled like they always did. Life moved exactly the same, except she started noticing things she hadn't before. He stayed late. Always. Even on nights without inventory or reason. Sometimes she saw him through the office glass, the monitor glow on his face. Other times, he counted drawers by hand. The system already tracked everything, so why twice? One night, she lingered by the stockroom door, pretending to sort returns. Through the window, she watched him slide bills into a plain white envelope, seal it, glance around, and tuck it into a coffee box under the desk. She didn't move, just watched. When he left, she stepped closer, eyes on the box, but didn't touch it. The thought of what might be inside buzzed louder than the lights. In the break room later, someone laughed at a meme on their phone. She didn't hear it. She just stared at the clock. 10:32. He was still out there, closing up. That night, for the first time, she didn't feel small. She felt alert, like something had clicked into place. And the thought came quiet, steady, almost calm. He's not just mean. He's hiding something. Next week, she didn't leave after her shift. Said she had extra cleaning to do, and no one questioned it. The store was always short-staffed. Nobody wanted more hours, but she didn't mind. Not now. From the front register, she could see the office window, frosted glass with a crack in one corner. When the light was on, it threw a faint rectangle on the floor tiles. That was her signal. Every time it glowed, he was in there, doing whatever he did after hours. One night, she stood near the bottled water display, pretending to check labels, and watched him through the reflection in the glass doors. He opened the drawer, took out an envelope, and scribbled something on a sticky note before tucking it under a pile of paperwork. The whole thing took maybe a minute. Then he turned off the light and left. She waited until his car pulled out. Then she walked back to her register. The coffee box was there, under the desk, right where he'd put it. Her hands hovered above it. Not shaking this time, just steady. She lifted the lid. Inside were envelopes. 5 of them, each labeled with dates. One had the corner torn open, bills folded tight inside. She didn't count them. She didn't need to. She took one photo, just one, quick, clear, with her phone light off. Then she closed the box, wiped the counter with a cloth, and left everything exactly how it was. At home, she saved the picture to a folder labeled receipts. It looked harmless. No one would ever click it. Next to it, she added screenshots of her own register reports, side by side with his. She noticed numbers that didn't match. Small differences, maybe $20, $30, but always in the same direction. The anger thinned. Focus took its place, a clean, quiet logic. She logged everything: dates, times, transaction numbers. Every shift, she double-checked totals, saved screenshots, took photos of closing screens. Never told anyone. By week's end, her folder held 27 images. No names, no notes, just patterns. Sunday morning, she opened them again, small, silent proofs. It didn't look like revenge. It looked like order. And for the first time, she wasn't afraid of him. The email sat half-written on her screen for almost an hour. The words looked harmless. Dates, receipts, attachments. Nothing emotional, nothing extra. Just facts. The company website had a link at the bottom. Ethics line, report anonymously. She clicked it once, then again, just to be sure it worked. The form opened in a small white box. She typed slowly, checking every line twice. Discrepancies in nightly cash reports. Possible manual adjustments. Her fingers hesitated before adding his name. Then she did it. The only sound was the soft hum of the refrigerator. Her apartment light was off. The glow from the laptop painted her hands blue. A message popped up, attach files. She attached them all. Photos, screenshots, register logs. 27 pieces. It didn't feel like courage. More like a math problem she finally solved. When she clicked submit, the screen blinked once. Then nothing. No confirmation, no sound, just that small spinning circle. She stared at it until it stopped. Her heart didn't race. She just sat back and exhaled. The kind of breath that feels like it's been waiting for weeks to leave. Outside, a car passed by, headlights brushing across the blinds. She watched the light move across the wall, slow and quiet. It felt too ordinary for what she'd just done. She closed the laptop, made tea, and stood by the sink while it cooled. The city outside was silent, just the hum of a distant freeway, the flicker of a streetlight dying. Somewhere in another part of town, he was probably closing another shift, counting another drawer, laughing at something stupid. And she almost smiled thinking about it. How normal everything still looked, right before it wasn't. She washed her cup, turned off the light, and lay down without setting an alarm. The room was dark except for the faint green glow of the clock. She whispered once, barely audible, like testing the sound of her own voice. It's done. And for the first time in weeks, she fell asleep without hearing that scanner in her head. 2 weeks later, a different man stood behind the counter. Same lights, same music, same smell, but something in the air had shifted. Quieter, lighter. Nobody said it outright. Rumors circled. He got transferred. Corporate found something. The assistant manager only said, "Keep your lanes clean. We're shorthanded." By lunch, his nameplate was gone. The drawer empty. The coffee box too. She didn't smile. Just kept working. Scanning, bagging, thanking. The scanner's sound hit different now. Sharp, clean, steady. Not a reminder anymore. Proof. When the last customer left, she turned off her light, counted the drawer. Bills lined perfect, coins even. Her hands steady again. The new shift lead at the desk double-checked receipts. Quiet, calm, nodding as she passed. As she clocked out, she saw her reflection in the door. Same uniform, same tired face, but something else too. Stillness. Not pride. Not joy. Balance. She zipped her jacket, grabbed her bag, and switched off the light above her lane. The hum faded. Coolers, vents, buzz, until only the glow from the exit sign stayed. She stood a moment longer. The silence wasn't heavy. It was clean. The store lights dimmed behind her, all stretching out like empty lanes of calm. Then, quietly, like checking the math one last time, she said, "Balance matched." She stepped outside, the door clicking shut behind her, soft, certain. The air smelled like rain and freedom. For a moment, she just stood there, breathing it in, steady, final.